Most people live their lives within the boundaries of the seen, the measured, the explainable. But for some of us, there comes a moment, sometimes in a dream, sometimes in a breakdown, sometimes in a flash of absolute stillness, where reality cracks just enough to let something ancient and infinite whisper through. That whisper says, "You're not like the others. You're here for more." And at first, you doubt it. You try to dismiss it, rationalize it, bury it beneath the noise of the world. But deep down, something in you knows. You carry a frequency that doesn't match the world you were born into. You sense things before they happen. You feel energies that others can't explain. You've always had a strange, sacred ache to remember something you've never been told. And that ache, that's the first sign, the first echo of being chosen, not just in a poetic or symbolic way, but literally, cosmically, across dimensions. You see, the chosen ones aren't chosen because they're special in an egotistical sense. They're chosen because their soul agreed to carry a blueprint that transcends the limitations of this plane. That blueprint contains codes, energetic instructions to awaken dormant layers of consciousness, not just in themselves, but in everyone they touch. If you're listening to this right now and your heart is racing or your skin is tingling, that's not a coincidence. That's recognition. That's your field responding to truth. The first sign you're the chosen one above all dimensions is that you've always felt out of place here. You've tried to fit in, to blend, to conform, but there's always been a part of you that knew this world wasn't designed for your level of awareness. And maybe you spent years numbing that feeling. Maybe you tried to shut it down because it made you lonely or afraid. But now, something's shifting. You're being drawn back into remembrance. The veil is thinning and your soul is saying, "It's time." The second sign is that your life has never followed a linear path. Every time you thought you had a plan, it unraveled. Every time you tried to build a normal life, something shattered it: loss, betrayal, illness, breakdown. But this wasn't punishment. It was initiation. The chosen ones are never allowed to get too comfortable in illusion. Your soul signed a contract to be pulled out of the matrix again and again until you remembered who you are beneath all the identities. In spiritual terms, this is the path of the sacred disruptor. You weren't meant to live a quiet life. You were meant to awaken violently, beautifully, and completely. And the chaos wasn't random. It was a curriculum. Your suffering was a sacred teacher. Your rock bottom was a dimensional doorway. The question is, did you learn to see the pattern beneath the pain? Another sign, and this one is crucial, is that you've always been a transmitter of energy, even if you didn't realize it. People come to you with their problems. Strangers tell you their secrets. Animals and children are drawn to you. And when you walk into a room, the energy shifts, sometimes subtly, sometimes dramatically. You've probably been called too sensitive, too intense, or too much. But really, you are tuned. You're a frequency holder. Your aura acts like a lighthouse in the dark, and others subconsciously sense it. This isn't coincidence, it's responsibility. Because when you're chosen, your energy becomes a tool for awakening. Others feel safer, deeper, or more exposed around you because your field is activating something in them. And that's why you've also attracted so many energy vampires, narcissists, and wounded souls. It's not because you're weak. It's because your light is strong, and it unsettles those who are still hiding from their own. One of the most undeniable signs is that you've always had moments of knowing that defy logic. You've had dreams that come true. You've felt spirits in the room. You've looked into someone's eyes and seen their soul. You've walked into places and felt the history in the walls. Maybe you've dismissed these things as imagination or coincidence, but they weren't. These were bleed-throughs, dimensional overlaps where your higher perception momentarily pierced the veil. The chosen ones are multidimensional beings in a three-dimensional world, and that comes with a specific kind of vision. You don't just see with your eyes. You see with your soul. You read between the words. You feel the truth beneath the mask. And that sensitivity is not a flaw, it's your superpower. The only question is, have you owned it, or are you still trying to suppress it to make others comfortable? Another key sign, and this one often shows up after a major spiritual awakening, is that you begin to feel pulled by a mission you can't yet define. You might not know exactly what it is, but you feel it in your bones, a sense that you're here to do something that matters, something enormous, something sacred. And it's not about fame or recognition, it's about impact. It's about anchoring a new frequency into this world. You may have tried to ignore this calling, to live a small life, to avoid the weight of that responsibility, but it keeps calling. Louder, stronger. And the more you resist it, the more misaligned you feel. Because the chosen ones are not allowed to settle. Your soul won't let you. You came here to remember, not to repeat. You came here to lead, not to follow. And the mission isn't found through effort, it's revealed through surrender. Often the chosen experience a deep, almost unbearable longing. A longing for home. A longing for something that can't be found on this earth. You may stare at the stars and feel tears rise for no reason. You may walk through forests or ancient temples and feel echoes of something too vast to explain. That longing is not madness, it's memory. It's your soul remembering its origins. You are not just human, you are a traveler across dimensions. You've lived lifetimes in other realms, served in light councils, encoded knowledge into the crystalline grids of forgotten worlds. And even if you don't consciously remember, your body does. Your dreams do. That ache in your chest, that's the echo of your truth trying to break through the amnesia. And you're not alone. Others are waking up too. We're finding each other. Because the time is now. The earth is shifting, the veil is thinning, and the chosen are being activated. So I ask you this, have you ever felt like you were sent here, not born here? Like your life is a message disguised as a human experience? Like your suffering was actually the code that cracked the illusion wide open? If the answer is yes, then keep watching, because this is only the beginning. You've answered the call, but now comes the choice to rise into it fully, or to keep hiding from your own radiance.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
There comes a strange moment in every chosen one's life when they begin to remember things they were never taught. Words, symbols, visions, languages, sacred geometries, ancient truths, they arise from nowhere, yet feel more familiar than your own name. You might be reading a book and suddenly realize you already know what's coming on the next page. Or you walk into a temple, a ruin, or a forgotten place and feel a chill run through your spine, not fear, but recognition, as if your soul is whispering, we've been here before. And you know without knowing how you know that something vast is waking up in you. This is not imagination. This is not delusion. This is the beginning of your multidimensional awakening. When you are the chosen one across dimensions, your memory is not limited to this lifetime. Your consciousness is layered like a spiral staircase that stretches through time, space, and beyond. At each turn of the spiral, there is a version of you who has lived, learned, died, and ascended in another plane. And now, as the veil thins, those layers are bleeding into your waking life. That's why you feel so much even when nothing seems to be happening. That's why you cry during music that has no lyrics or tremble when you hear ancient chants. Your body is remembering frequencies your mind can't comprehend. Your DNA is activating codes that were dormant until now. You are not just waking up, you are reintegrating, recalling lifetimes of wisdom that were stored in the vaults of your soul, waiting for this precise moment in time. But why now? Why this lifetime? Because Earth is at a tipping point. Humanity is standing on the edge of a massive leap in consciousness, and the chosen ones are here to stabilize the timeline. You are not here to fit in, you are here to anchor in the new frequency. And to do that, you must first awaken your own multidimensional memory. That's why life has felt so disorienting lately. Why your dreams are more vivid, your body more sensitive, your emotions more intense. You are being recalibrated. Your energetic system is being upgraded to hold more light, more truth, more presence. But with that upgrade comes a shedding. Old beliefs, relationships, identities, they start to fall away. Not because you're broken, but because they no longer match your vibration. And as hard as it is, you have to let them go. You cannot bring density into higher realms. You cannot carry the past through a portal designed for your future self. As the memories return, you may not always understand them. They may come as symbols, flashes, strange dreams, or sudden knowing. Trust them anyway. Do not demand logic from the language of the soul. Your multidimensional self speaks in frequency, not words. It shows you truths through feeling, not explanation. And the more you trust that inner knowing, the stronger it becomes. This is why practices like meditation, silence, breathwork, and solitude become sacred. They clear the static so your higher self can speak clearly. And when it does, listen, because the guidance you receive is not just for you, it's for the world. You are a bridge between dimensions, a messenger of the unseen, a vessel for the divine to speak through flesh. But here's where it gets even deeper. When you remember who you are beyond this body, beyond this name, you begin to remember why you came. The soul mission, the sacred contract, the divine task you chose long before you incarnated. And this memory does not come as a sentence or a job title. It comes as a pull, a gravitational force towards something you can't quite define but can't ignore. It may look like art, healing, teaching, creating, leading, or simply being. But behind every action is the same intention: to awaken others by embodying your full self. That is your purpose. And the more you align with it, the more life begins to respond. Synchronicities increase, doors open. The right people find you, because the universe reorganizes itself around those who remember who they are. Yet with this awakening comes responsibility. You cannot carry this memory lightly. You must ground it, embody it, live it fully, even when it's inconvenient, even when it's lonely, even when the world doesn't understand. Because this isn't about being popular, this is about being authentic. And authenticity is the highest frequency you can emit. When you are fully yourself, raw, real, radiant, you activate others just by existing. You don't need to preach. Your presence becomes the sermon. That's the power of the chosen ones. We don't convert, we remind. We don't dominate, we radiate. And those who are ready will remember the truth within themselves when they stand in your field. So I ask you, and I ask it from the deepest part of me that remembers too, what would happen if you stopped pretending to be asleep? What would your life become if you trusted your inner knowing more than the external rules? What would awaken in you if you finally said yes to the mission you've been avoiding? Because the time is not coming, it's here. The dimensional gates are open, the ancient codes are activating, and the ones who were chosen before time are hearing the call again. You don't need to know everything. You just need to remember enough to begin. There is a weight that comes with being chosen, a heaviness that settles in your chest long before you have the words to describe it. And it's not just emotional pain. It's a soul-deep ache, a kind of existential exhaustion that seems to follow you even in moments of peace. You've asked yourself more times than you've admitted, why me? Why does life feel so much harder for me than for everyone else? Why do I keep breaking, even when I try so hard to hold it all together? But what if I told you that your suffering wasn't punishment, it was preparation? What if I told you that your deepest wounds were the exact portals through which your power would awaken? See, the chosen ones carry a sacred burden because they are here to break generational and dimensional cycles. You weren't born into ease because you didn't come to continue the pattern, you came to end it. You came to disrupt the frequency of fear, of shame, of silence, of unworthiness that has passed through bloodlines, timelines, and entire civilizations. That takes more than just love, it takes fire. And fire by its nature burns. That's why your life has felt like one long initiation. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every loss, it wasn't random. It was a forging. A sacred alchemy designed to carve out the space within you to hold the codes of awakening. While others were building resumes and chasing validation, you were being called into the underworld of your own soul. And you answered that call even when it broke you. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you chosen. But let's not romanticize it. The path of the chosen is brutal. It strips you of everything that isn't real. It isolates you so you can hear the voice of your higher self without distraction. It tests you with silence, with abandonment, with despair, not to destroy you, but to purify you, because your mission requires clarity. And clarity only comes when illusion dies. That's why so much of your life has felt like loss. You weren't losing your life, you were losing the lie. The lie that you were small. The lie that you are powerless. The lie that you are here to survive instead of transform. And every time you were brought to your knees, something holy was happening beneath the pain. Your ego was cracking. Your soul was expanding. And your vibration was rising to match the frequency of your true purpose. You see, suffering isn't the opposite of awakening, it's the doorway to it. Pain is the language the universe uses when you've forgotten how to listen. And chosen ones, we are born with ears that hear the deep language of the cosmos. That's why we feel everything so intensely. That's why we can't numb out like others do. Because every emotion, every sensation, every breakdown is part of the divine design. You weren't meant to bypass pain, you were meant to alchemize it. And when you do, when you finally stop resisting and start listening, the burden becomes a blessing. You begin to see that your scars are maps, that your grief was the teacher that cracked you open just enough to let the light in, that your loneliness was the cocoon for a metamorphosis that was destined before time. And here's the most important truth: the deeper your pain, the higher your calling. The universe doesn't give heavy missions to fragile souls. It chooses those who have the capacity to endure the fire and still choose love. You are not weak. You are the strongest kind of warrior, one who fights battles no one sees and still shows up with an open heart. That's why your presence is so powerful. That's why others feel safe around you, even if they can't explain why. You've walked through darkness and returned with light. You've tasted death in 1,000 forms, emotional, spiritual, even physical, and yet you rise. Again and again. That resilience, that's sacred. That's what makes you a guide, a healer, a beacon. But now it's time to stop seeing your pain as proof that you're cursed. It's time to stop hiding the very thing that makes you divine. Your wounds are not your weakness, they are your credentials. They show that you've been initiated, that you've earned your wisdom not through books, but through blood and tears and silence. And now, others are waking up. They're looking for someone who understands the depth of their despair, someone who can say, "I've been there, and I survived, and so can you." That someone is you. Not because you have all the answers, but because you have the empathy born of experience. The sacred burden you carry is not just yours. It's the key that unlocks the healing of those around you. So I ask you, with all the reverence this moment deserves, what if your suffering wasn't a detour from your purpose, but the most direct path into it? What if everything you've endured was perfectly orchestrated to awaken the healer, the teacher, the leader, the light within you? And what if the time has come to stop surviving your pain and start serving through it? Because here's the truth the world doesn't want to say out loud. The most powerful souls are often born from the most shattered beginnings, and the chosen ones. We rise not despite the pain, but because of it. There comes a moment in every chosen one's path where the journey turns from inner healing to outer embodiment. You've gone deep. You've suffered, awakened, remembered. You've walked through fire and silence. And now the universe stands before you not with another test, but with an invitation. This is the final activation. This is where remembering turns into becoming. You are not just someone who had a spiritual awakening. You are the embodiment of that awakening. You are the code, the key, the vibration that unlocks the next chapter of human evolution. And the new earth, this rising field of light, truth, and alignment, is not a place we go to. It is a frequency we become. And you, yes you, are one of the living keys. When we say new earth, we're not talking about some utopian fantasy. We're talking about a vibrational shift in the very fabric of human consciousness. A collective leap out of fear, separation, and control, and into sovereignty, unity, and truth. And this shift doesn't happen because of governments or institutions. It happens because individuals like you activate. When you live from your soul instead of your conditioning, you send ripples through the grid. When you speak truth instead of people-pleasing, you rewire the field of communication. When you choose love over fear again and again, even when it's hard, you become a lighthouse in the storm. And these acts, though they seem small, are seismic in the unseen realms. You've probably felt it already, that strange pull to simplify your life, to spend more time in nature, to declutter your mind, to stop participating in systems that drain your soul. That's not coincidence. That's alignment. You're being called into coherence with the Earth's new frequency. And the more you listen, the more you'll feel yourself syncing with something ancient and intelligent. You'll begin to notice synchronicities, increasing numbers, messages, dreams, chance meetings. You'll speak, and the universe will echo back in real time. That's the grid responding to your resonance. You are not separate from the Earth, you are one of her extensions. And when your vibration rises, it uplifts the whole network. But here's what most don't realize. This final activation is not about doing more. It's about being more fully yourself. The most potent frequency you can emit is your unfiltered authenticity. Not the version of you that performs or pleases, but the version that's rooted in truth so deeply that your very presence disrupts illusion. That's when you become a living key. You don't need to convince anyone. You don't need a platform. Your energy becomes the invitation. Your life becomes the transmission. And others who are ready will feel it. They'll awaken just by being in your field. That's the power of vibrational integrity. It's not loud, it's not flashy, but it's undeniable. Now, you might be wondering, what's next? What does it mean to live as a key in a world that still feels broken? It means becoming radically present. It means aligning your thoughts, words, and actions every day with the frequency of your higher self. It means choosing relationships, environments, and habits that nourish your field. It means refusing to dim your light to make others comfortable. It means creating, speaking, building, loving from a place of overflow, not obligation. And most of all, it means trusting that your presence on this planet, right now, is not an accident. You were placed here with precision. You are not late. You are not early. You are exactly on time. So here is the final truth, the one your soul came to embody. You are not here to escape this world. You are here to transform it from the inside out. The new Earth is not waiting for someone else to build it. It's waiting for you to become it. Every time you choose love, you lay a brick. Every time you embody truth, you raise a wall. Every time you forgive, you open a door. You are the temple. You are the blueprint. You are the living expression of the divine made human. And the more you own that, the more the Earth herself will respond. So I ask you one last time, not with pressure, but with reverence. If not now, when? If not you, who? And if deep down you know you were born for this, then what are you still waiting for? The veil has lifted. The keys have awakened. The grid is live. And you are the signal. Welcome home.